Lost in the cities, gray, Mr. Elmsworth yearned for forests.
He began with one tiny bonsai. Could this small act transform his life and the lives of those around him? Discover how a single seed of hope blossomed into a vibrant community, proving that even the grandest dreams always start small.
Mr. Elmsworth lived alone in a small apartment high above a city of steel and stone. He often gazed out from his balcony, longing for the forests of his youth, a world now lost to time and concrete. The memory of rustling leaves and singing birds was a stark contrast to the city's hum. The sounds of traffic and distant sirens filled his days, a constant reminder of his urban isolation. The dream of walking among tall trees and breathing fresh forest air seemed an impossible fantasy. His heart ached for nature. One ordinary morning, as he flipped through the newspaper, something caught his eye. Tucked between the pages was a small article about bonsai trees, miniature trees, grown in pots. A spark of hope flickered in his heart. "If I can't have a forest outside," he mused, "perhaps I can create one within my own space." The idea filled him with newfound purpose. He decided to visit the local nursery, a place he hadn't been to in years. The next day, Mr. Elmsworth ventured out into the city. The bustling streets and towering buildings felt overwhelming, but he kept his focus. He was on a mission to find a piece of nature to call his own. At the nursery, surrounded by vibrant flowers and lush greenery, Mr. Elmsworth felt a sense of peace he hadn't experienced in years. He walked among the plants, carefully considering his options. Among the rows of trees, his eyes landed on a delicate juniper sapling. It was small, almost fragile, but it was alive. There was something about it that drew him in, a sense of quiet resilience. He purchased the little juniper, carefully carrying it back to his apartment. The small pot felt heavy with potential, with the promise of green in a world of gray. His heart felt lighter than it had in years. Back on his balcony, Mr. Elmsworth placed the juniper in a sunny spot. "This is no forest," he thought, a twinge of sadness in his heart. "But it's a start." He resolved to nurture it with care. Every morning, Mr. Elmsworth watered the juniper, trimmed its tiny branches, and ensured it had enough sunlight. This daily ritual brought him a quiet happiness he hadn't anticipated. It became a routine. Each day, the sapling seemed a little stronger, a little greener. He watched with patient pride as its branches reached towards the sky. He felt a connection to this tiny tree. After several weeks, encouraged by his little success, Mr. Elmsworth bought a small maple tree. His balcony began to transform into a miniature forest. Hope started to blossom. Then came a tiny pine tree, and another, and another. One by one, his balcony transformed from a concrete slab into a small collection of miniature trees, each one a symbol of life and resilience. What had started as a lonely chore became a passionate project, a living forest in the heart of the city. Mr. Elmsworth found solace and purpose in nurturing his tiny trees. The change had been profound. Neighbors began to notice the burst of green on Mr. Elmsworth's balcony. From their windows, they watched his small forest grow, intrigued and inspired by his dedication. Hope had begun to spread. Inspired by Mr. Elmsworth's efforts, one neighbor started planting flowers in a window box. A splash of color appeared on the building's facade. Change was in the air. Another neighbor started an herb garden on her ledge, filling the air with fragrant scents. The once bleak apartment complex was slowly transforming, becoming a haven of green. The somber building brightened with tiny gardens, small forests, born from Mr. Elmsworth's simple act. His balcony had sparked a wave of green that spread beyond his own space. Though he never had the vast forest of his dreams, Mr. Elmsworth's small beginning had made a difference. He had created a haven of nature in the heart of the city, bringing joy to himself and others. One evening, a young girl from across the street waved at Mr. Elmsworth. He smiled back, realizing that his small act had touched lives he didn't even know. Hope had taken root. Mr. Elmsworth often spent his afternoons reading under the shade of his miniature trees. They had become his sanctuary, his escape from the concrete world. It was his own little paradise. His tiny forest also attracted birds. They would perch on the branches, singing their sweet songs. For the first time in years, Mr. Elmsworth heard the music of nature outside his window. The apartment complex started to feel like a community, united by a shared love for nature. People talked to each other, shared gardening tips, and admired each other's creations. A community was born. Mr. Elmsworth realized that his small beginning had grown into something much bigger than he ever imagined. He had sparked a wave of growth and hope that transformed the entire building. His story reminds us that great dreams often start with small steps. Even the smallest act of kindness or creativity can have a ripple effect, touching countless lives. Start small, bloom big. Mr. Elmsworth learned that even in the heart of a bustling city, nature can thrive. All it takes is a little effort, a little patience, and a willingness to start small. Never give up on your dreams. And so, Mr. Elmsworth continued to tend to his miniature forest day after day, year after year. He was a living testament to the power of small beginnings and the enduring beauty of nature. His legacy lived on, inspiring generations to find beauty and create change in their own small ways. Because every big thing starts as something small. Plant the seed, watch it grow. From then on, the city never looked quite as gray again. Everywhere, the smallest bit of green could be found, connecting people together. And so, in his own quiet way, Mr. Elmsworth transformed not only his own life, but the lives of everyone around him, because to start small can truly make all the difference.